Hello everyone, Mr. Ulmer here again today at the home shop. Caleb behind the camera. We're going to do a little grinder tutorial today for you. Show you some of these different attachments and how they've attached to a normal everyday 4.5 inch grinder. Today I want to show you the difference in a grinding wheel and a cutoff wheel. Notice the difference of the thickness. The grinding wheel here is about 1/4 inch thick, used for downward force grinding. And the cutoff wheel here is thin, only I need to say about 1/16 of an inch. It cannot stand downward pressure. It'll break, come apart, throw shrapnel everywhere. It is made for an edge cut like this. It's made to cut. All right. Now, how are we going to attach these to the grinder today? We're going to use a DeWalt grinder, 4.5 inch grinder. I think it's a, I want to say, yeah, it's a 120 volt. 7.5 amp grinder, 7.5 amp grinder. They do make them in different sizes. This is probably your smaller one here. Okay, the grinding disc goes on. Let me show you about this washer here. This washer has a milled out space in here that it locks down to the shaft. As you can see, it's got a flat spot in the shaft, and it goes on and locks itself on, and you turn it, the shaft turns too. All right, this actually keeps, that washer keeps the grinder wheels and attachments from being pressed down onto the shaft of the motor and the guard here, okay? So grinder wheel goes on, it locks down in there. Notice it's tight in there. It's not gonna move side to side. And that's when this lip on this nut here comes into play. When you go to put a grinding wheel on, the lip of the nut will go down into the grinding wheel. Notice it's not gonna move, okay? That's all you need to tighten it down, just hand tight. Just tighten it hand tight. The centrifugal force and the grinding motion will actually tighten itself on, okay? Now onto the cutoff wheel. It's gonna go on the same way. Locks down in that little recessed lip area. However, when we go to put our nut on, we wanna leave this lip up. Notice there's not one on the back side. We wanna leave it up, okay? And when we do that, thread it on there, it will actually tighten down onto the grinding wheel. You can see there it's moving. Okay. However, I've seen a lot of newbies to this field. They're just going to go ahead and put the lip down, and I'm going to show them what it's going to do here. Okay. And you can see the shaft not moving, but the cutoff wheel is. That's not going to cut anything. Okay. And it's dangerous, very dangerous. Okay. So make sure you just turn that lip down. It will tighten itself up. And remember, no downward pressure. This is a no. This is a no. This is a yes. It's made for cutting, okay? All right, moving on to the next thing here I want to show you. This is a grinding wheel. You might see these out. They have an actual threaded hub attached to it. You leave your washer on, and you just thread it on. It threads on, it'll tighten up itself. Sometimes these will get tight. Notice the difference. There's no holes down here, so if this got on too tight, you would not be able to use the supplied grinder wrench to take it off. You'd have to come in here with an adjustable or a slim wrench and bust it loose. I don't really like using these a lot. It's because they stick out past the guard, which means all the sparks and hot objects are going to be flying into your body and everything else. We don't really use those a lot. All right, moving on next here, we have what we call, this is a wire wheel. It's a knotted wire wheel, they call it. It has a hub in here, it's threaded on, and it will fit on a 4.5 inch grinder. When you thread it on, leave the washer on, and notice it's still contained inside of the guard. We use this in class for cleaning out V-grooves, getting slag out of the hard to reach places in those grooves, and in lap joints, T-joints, stuff like that, okay? Not very good for, I'm gonna say, cleaning up large areas of surface corrosion. They're just not really made for that. We would use this cut brush. The cut brush here is made for downward force. It's great for removing heavy mill scale, light mill scale and light corrosion. Maybe some surface corrosions, things like that. And again, it just threads on with the washer on. Okay, you don't need to tighten those, they're gonna tighten up by themselves, okay? And when you're using this, you're gonna use it like this. Okay, when you're using an 8 inch grinder or a 9 inch grinder, they have wire cups on them. You wanna be sure to keep it away from your body. And they've been known to take a shirt and grab it and suck it up in there and pull this thing up into your belly, okay, to give you a little severe case of rock rash right there on your guts. They are dangerous. Be careful with these when you use any type of wire wheel apparatus, that you make sure you use of course, your safety glasses and a face shield. Especially this one here. When it gets down small, you're going to see these wires, they'll start throwing them out. They'll start losing them. The brush will be no good, and eventually just going to start separating, and then it's at the end of its life. It will deposit these little wires into your clothes, into your pants, shirts, and of course your face and eyeballs too if you're that unlucky. All right, moving on to the next ones here. We have a few sanding pads here, and I'm going to show you a few different ones here. This is one. Nowadays I buy these without the threaded nut on them because they're a little bit cheaper. I like them a little bit better, and they have to have the washer on it. You're going to put it on just like a cutoff wheel with the nut up, just like that. Okay, that is actually recessed back down in here, so if you're sanding, this shaft and the nut here will never encounter the object that you're trying to polish and shine. Of course, these come in different variations and different degrees of grits. Okay, this is a threaded on one. Okay, it threads on just like a threaded grinding wheel or a wire wheel. Okay, good for polishing. Okay, I use these a lot actually. Okay, the last one here is an older school type of sanding pad. It comes with a black plastic backing. You'll have these these disposable, it's like a sanding pads, and you can see this one here has got rough, made with huge grains of sand in it, and then it comes with the supplied nut. Without the nut there, this object is not going to work. To run this one, you have to take the washer off. You will set it down. However, if you notice down in there, the washer actually never touches any of this in here. It's tight onto this shaft, okay? As you can see, it's tight on there. And then you're going to take your sanding pad, whichever one you got there, you're going to put it on, and you're going to put this nut side down, this lip side down, and it will thread on, okay? And the more you thread it on, the flatter it's going to get in there. I only put these on hand tight, and see now it's kind of nice, flat and flush. This this pad here is no good. It's the only one I had, and it usually sticks out about a ½ inch all the way around. And again, made for downward force. These are older, however, they're still being used. You can buy these discs here, the backing pads, a whole lot cheaper than you can buy one of these modern day sanding pads. You can buy, they come in a pack of 10 or 20 or 100. So just some gee whiz information there. All right, make sure when you put your washer back on that you put your recessed lip back down, make sure it locks in place. Again, with the grinder, I want to make sure that you are putting this lip down. Put the lip down. Do not put it on with a wrench, or you will not get it off except with that wrench, okay? It will tighten up by its hand, okay? Always remember to wear your PPE, your safety glasses, face shield when you're especially using wire brushes. And again, always when you're changing out an attachment, make sure that it's unplugged. Make sure to follow your, check on your D2L. We'll talk a little bit, have a couple quiz about this and the different attachments and the ones that's needed to lip up, lip down, or a washer versus that, okay? Thank you.